Welcome to the Rusty Garage and Homestead. My name is Mike, and today's video, you guys read the title right, we are looking at the new property that we acquired. I'm considering it an abandoned property because nobody has lived here on this property in probably about 15 years. It's been well over a decade. I do know the current owners. I've met them a couple times. You see them, they come over here on this property. I don't know, you might see them once every 3 or 4 months, not very long at all. They don't live here. They just kind of bring stuff by and store stuff. I'll show you guys some of that here in just a bit. But 90% of this property, 80% of this property is like it is right here behind me. There's a pond on it. And the thing that I really like about this property, and I've wanted it for a while, is because it borders our current property. It's not huge. This is just another 5 acres right here, but we can use that. But let me give y'all a little tour. I don't know if you guys can tell, but right over there, that's Dad's house. And back in here, most of this is like this. It is thick timber. There's shoemake, there's some cedars, hickory, elm, oak, a little bit of everything. And it's a little hilly. Not awful, but it's a little hilly. Let me take you guys down to the pond. Right here by the pond, this is about the most cleared out area that there is. And there's one little deer trail taking off back through that timber. It's not huge, but this pond actually, there's a spring that comes down and feeds this pond, and the spillway of it goes down and curves around, and it actually feeds our old pond. So this pond feeds our old pond directly to it. And that's the creek that can run quite a bit of water in the springtime. I mean, it's hard to see. It's hard to see even from aerial view because there are so many trees. The pond dam's over there and it is covered with trees. This whole side covered. This is probably going to be one of the first things we do, is just open this pond area up, get it where we can get down here. I mean, that's a hill up that way. That's the property. But I want to get all this opened up and get all these lily pads sprayed, get them to clear out of there. There's some branches and stuff in there, but there's so much work to do. There's a neighbor about, I don't know, I'm going to say about 80 yards straight that way. There's another house back in there. And it gets worse. Back in through there is thick. We've got to get that north end cleared out so I can get a fence put in, because there's not a fence on that north end. There is one over here on the west side and our east side. I'm going to take y'all back over to where the dam and the spillway is so you can see it, but I mean the pond's literally 20 feet away, 30 feet away, and it's thick. So here, that's the pond dam. There's the pond. Let's get over there. See if I can not break my neck. Okay. Yeah, here's the dam. Goes downhill quite a ways out through there. Flattens off a little. But here's the pond dam. Lots of trees. I'll end up just flush cutting most of this stuff right on the pond dam. And then try to get the tiny tractor or the Bommalite with a grapple, drag this stuff out of here. So we're just right over there. This is the pond dam. It is thick back in here. And that creek, that thing's actually pretty deep right through there. Some of those sidewalls are about 6 foot deep. So here over on the spillway side and the north end, I'm gonna end up having to put some tin horns in here and some gravel so we can access that side of the property, the west side. You can see the spillway here, or what's left of it. That is about 3 foot deep. Pretty steep on each side, but too deep for the Ranger to drive across. You guys can see all the briars, all the thick stuff everywhere. That fence line's about 60 yards that way, and the whole thing's like that. So there's a ton of work to do over here. A lot of trees to cut, which that's fine. That was part of the reason for getting this, was to have some more areas to cut some wood. Put some cows on, probably at some point, I don't know when, but where this pond's at on the south side of it end up running like an east-west fence. And once we get some of this timber cleared out, we can turn this into like the bull pasture or something. Put the bull over here during the winter time whenever we pull him off, and he'll have his own little pad. But we're back here by the pond. My house is about straight that way, a little ways. But this is that little deer trail I was saying that cuts back through there. But it is so thick. I've got to figure out what's going to be the best way to get in here and clean a lot of this small stuff up. I'm thinking the best thing is going to be rent like a brush mulcher if I can find one at one of the rental places, or like a brush cutter to mount on the front of the Mini, or I don't know. The only thing that worries me about putting a brush cutter on the front of the Baumolite is it's got tires, which it'll do the job. It's got enough hydraulics to be able to do a lot of that, but most of those brush cutters, from my experience, they leave little stobs up off the ground, several inches, and being a tired machine, you could easily puncture a tire on that. The brush cutters work better to me on a track machine, so we may look at renting a track machine or just a brush cutter. I don't know yet. And all the people that I've known that lived here, which has only been 2, I can remember when this was pure timber and when they first moved a little trailer house in here. That was a long time ago. I was way young when that happened. But anyways, what I was saying, everyone that's lived here, nobody has ever cleaned this up back here, so it's always been this way. The most cleaning up anyone's ever done was right here by the pond. And that's this right here, what I was showing y'all just a little bit ago. Just a little patch that they mowed down. So part of the yard here on this 5 acres, it's probably close to an acre that's actually cleared off. This is all west side of the property. And yeah, there's a creek that runs all the way to the south end through the pond, all the way to the north end. Then it curves over and goes to our pond. But the whole thing is covered with trees. There's some good looking trees in here. Like that oak right there, that's a decent one. There's some decent ones in here, but there's so much undergrowth that I don't think a lot of this stuff, I think a lot of it's struggling. Nice clear blue skies right there. We just got through having a bunch of rain come through most of the morning. But I'm extremely excited about this. I've wanted this property for a long time, but it is going to be a work in progress for a while. The current owners, I am going to be working with them on getting their stuff off the property. I gave them ample time to get a lot of this stuff off. Probably too long, but if it's here whenever that deadline ends, then I'm either going to be making a lot of trips to the scrapyard, or I don't know, have other projects that I probably really don't need. Got a hackberry there. That's a nice good looking oak tree right here. Lots of oaks up in here. Let me show you the rest of it. Okay, so right back here is kind of where we started the video. Pan around here, we've got old trucks, we've got frames, beds, trailers, all sorts of stuff. Most of this stuff, I've been brush hogging and Dad's been mowing a lot of this. Otherwise, it was extremely tall. Shoemake's been taking over. The property just hasn't had any upkeep in a very long time. But there was a lot more of this out here. See these spots over here where it's bare dirt? There was trailers, vehicles, all sorts of stuff out here. This stuff they've been hauling off of here already. It does have this little storage shed, which the roof looks pretty bad. I don't know if there's going to be anything salvageable on this. Best thing to do might be just pull the hinges off and then burn the whole thing. But I know you guys have seen that semi-trailer in the background of videos and all the stuff. There's stuff everywhere out here, but I'm okay with it. He's got a deadline to get the stuff off there. I'm just happy to have the property. And the trailer house, literally nobody's lived in that thing in probably 15, 16 years. This property, essentially the last person I remember living there did abandon the property, and then it got hung up with the state and all that stuff because of taxes and stuff. But anyways, new owners got it. They've never lived here. They use the trailer house as a storage unit, basically. Essentially, that's all it is. But it is full of more stuff that needs cleaned out. So that's one of the big ticket items. I want that thing cleaned out so I can get that trailer gone, because I do not want it here. I think that trailer, as much as I really dislike dealing with Marketplace, I'm probably going to put the trailer up for free on Marketplace, put it up as a storage unit. Somebody wants it, they can come, pay a trailer house mover to move it to their property, and they can have it. The only thing I decided I wanted is all the bricks underneath it. There is sidewalk on the back side of the house and the front side, if you can see, but when these new owners came in here, they paid to have this trailer moved up about 2 more feet. So there's a lot of center blocks under that thing. And I don't really know why I need any center blocks, but just as well. I've got plenty of pallets, so probably just stick a bunch of pallets on the sidewalks, jack the trailer up, pull the bricks out, put them on the pallets, and go stick them somewhere. But we'll see. Dealing with Facebook Marketplace, I'm not a fan of. There's so many tire kickers and people that just waste your time, basically. So if I run into a lot of that, then I'll end up just probably demolishing the trailer myself and getting it gone. Because my plan is eventually, where this little flat pad is, this is probably the flattest place on this property where the trailer is, I want to put a sawmill there one day. So that's the plan. The trailer needs to go. And I mentioned in a few videos about the woodyard moving. Well, this is where it's going to move. It's a lot closer to the road. It's flatter up here. There's more air movement. So it just makes sense, if we're selling wood or anything like that, to be up here, easier access, closer to the road. And you guys can see there's one pecan tree that I recently brought home. Had it all dumped here on the ground. I put some telephone poles down and got it all stacked where it's off the ground. And the inside condition of the trailer, I really don't know. They've got all their stuff in it, so I don't want to mess with any of that right now. Once it goes by, then we'll see. The guy that lived here before, his name was Dean. I helped him replace the wood floor in his kitchen because the hot water tank that was right over here leaked and ruined a lot of his floor. So I know that's good in there, but I know the people that have it now, they did demo a bunch of walls and stuff in there. So that's what I'm saying. It's basically a storage unit. I don't think they've kept up with the title or anything, so it's a storage unit essentially. And for free, I think that'll make somebody a nice storage unit. But we'll see. Yeah, this trailer, that's how high it's been raised. You used to not have to have bricks to get into that thing. It had this little slab and right into the front door. But it does have concrete sidewalk down the length of the trailer up front and on the back side. And lots of gravel that you can't see. I'm gonna go spray. The old driveway used to go right up between those 2 trees up to the road. So I'm gonna spray all that, try to get this gravel to come back, and probably lay some more gravel down. And speaking of driveways, that is another thing we're gonna do early on. Our driveway is just far enough on the other side of the crest of that hill where you can't see the best. So we're gonna move the driveway up to the top of the hill. So instead of coming out right there, driveway is gonna be about right here, right at the top of the hill. I've already talked to Dad. I think we're gonna basically rip all this gravel up all through here, and about there we're going to bring the driveway straight right past these oak trees, come up here, curve, and have a nice big wide entrance. So as you guys can see, there's a ton of stuff to do here. It's just going to take time. Working shift work, I don't know, we'll get to it when we can. But if you guys have any ideas on the best way to, clear through some of this, a brush cutter is probably going to be the first thing in line to just establish some trails to be able to get through, get the side by side, up and down, both sides of the property. But eventually I think we're going to end up bringing the dozer, drive it over here, and really start working some of the stuff up and widening up some areas. I don't want to necessarily clear cut and strip everything. I want to leave as many trees as we can, but there's going to be a lot of cutting for firewood on this property, which there's a lot of younger trees that are alive over here versus on our current property. You guys have seen we've got a lot of dead standing trees over there, so still probably working on those quite a bit, getting the dead standing stuff cut down and brought up here to the new wood yard essentially. And I don't know exactly how the new wood yard is going to be laid out. I just stuck some logs up here over to the side where they're kind of out of the way for everyone. So the logs are right over there, but once they get all of their stuff out of here, and we got kind of a clean slate, the wood yard more than likely is going to move somewhere. I just don't know where yet. And I did talk to the owner. A lot of this stuff, he said I can move it out of the way, so we're going to be doing that here pretty soon too, because I really, really desperately want to brush hog all the shoemake and grass and weeds and everything that's growing up around all the stuff. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. This stuff down here, I brought the tractor with the brush hog down here and was able to cut some things, but there's a lot of things, if you guys can see right there, they come through and they cut a bunch of little small trees and let the stump up about 1.5 feet, 2 foot all through there, and it's so thick you can't really see where the stumps are until you're whacking on them with the brush hog.